live.
Okay.
Cool. Let me close out any little widgets or stuff that I won't need. And let me get my Roll20 ready on the gun. Okay. Let's give it like 3-4 minutes, let people kind of filter in. So how's everyone's morning?
Pretty good.
Good. Good.
Okay. So let's see. Okay, so just need to get to the Roll20 and then we're good. Let's see. Oh yeah, definitely need to set this up for something stronger in the future. I don't really need Discord. Let's close out of that. Let's see. File Explorer, don't need that. Does anyone have the login information for the Roll20? If you could just send that to me, all discretionary like. That would be
Login information?
Yeah, for the Roll20, so I can access some things.
Are we talking about the Greyhawk channels?
Yeah.
All right, I do not have that, but let me see if I can't get it for you.
Okay, excellent.
Let's see if Jazz.
All right. Well, that's okay. We don't super duper need the info to begin, I think. Ugh. I look like a giant thumb. Okay. Okay, that looks a little bit better. I mean, yeah, I look exactly how you'd think I'd look, like a gremlin. Okay, so while Kevin is getting that, would you folks like to begin with the little opening blurb?
Sure. I'll go first. Hi, I'm Liz Doodles on Twitter and the internet. I play Ray Rel, the Wood Elf Ranger.
Okay, cool. Patrick, what about you?
All right. I'm Patrick, or Attacktrick Online. I'm going to be playing Soren. He is a human sorcerer.
Okay. Kevin, yourself?
Hi there, Kevin Hitt here. Happy to be here. Really appreciate the invite to play with you guys today. You can find me on Twitter at Kevin_Hit. I am an esports reporter and a D&D enthusiast, and I will be playing Drew Anthony, who is modeled after my best friend that passed away about 3 weeks ago. I could not be more excited to keep his memory alive while playing him as a D&D character. So I really appreciate, Liz, that work you did for me there for his portrait. It means a lot.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it, and I look forward to playing with you guys.
Oh yeah, definitely. We should note that like all the art that you're for the character portraits was done by Liz, and you do really good work.
Thank you.
He's awesome.
Okay. So how to begin something like this? So Greyhawk is a green, luscious planet. Or no. It's not even called Greyhawk. The world of Oerth is a green, luscious planet, sitting in one of the crystal spheres, way, way out in realm space. And the mages, the scholars, the wise people of Greyhawk usually note down things like the passing of comets and the days of eclipse and other important celestial events. And so it came as a surprise to the people of Greyhawk the day that the comet came. No writing foretold of its coming, and it strode through the sky like few had ever seen before, blasting forth with blue fire as it streaked out of the sky and down towards the earth, into the lands of the bright desert, far beyond the realm of Greyhawk. This obviously startled uh, the people of Greyhawk, and it was very quickly announced that people would be sent forth to go retrieve it or go make forth. And yet, not even a day had passed before they had rescinded that order, noting that the land of the Bright Desert was held by a man called Rory the Traitor. And so, in order to not, raise his ire, they chose not to send forth anything. Or at least, so we had thought. So all three of you, were in Greyhawk on the day of the falling meteor. And it shone so bright that it interrupted everyone's activities and everyone's going abouts for at least an hour. So I would like to start by asking the question, what's the small day-to-day activity you were doing that was interrupted by the falling star?
I think Rayrel was just running about town doing some errands, restocking her supplies.
Soren?
I was sitting, was drinking, relaxing, having a nice breakfast, waiting for the contact who I'm supposed to deliver a message for to meet me.
Mm-hmm. And then, Drew, what were you up to?
Drew and his other clergymen were in the middle of scriptures with almost like mass, but they were down on their knees reading their scriptures of St. Cuthbert while this happened.
Mm-hmm. So you had the rescinding of the order, and people were surprised by this, of course, because a falling star in fantasy and in general tends to herald something very powerful, and so allowing something to go like that, unchallenged to a man like Rory the Traitor, was definitely concerning to the people of Greyhawk. And so the city is a bit at unease right now. There's a bit of a tense atmosphere in the air. So, Drew, only about a day has passed since the day of the falling star, and you are going about whatever activity a priest of Cuthbert does at this time of day. When you are approached by one of the older members of the clergy, a man who's been serving Cuthbert for a long time. He walks with a cane. He's a little hunched over, but he's greatly respected by the clergy, and he was one of the first to take a shining to you, and he was the one who promoted you from your position as an altar boy to a squire in the service. So one of the head priests, Dominic, approaches you, and he puts a hand on his shoulder. He says, "We haven't been expecting this. You know of what I speak, do you not, Drew?"
I do, my priest.
It crashed into the bright desert. I was listening to the lords and councils of Greyhawk as they discussed what to do. One put forward to send a massive army, but as we know, that any force Greyhawk would send would be crushed by Rari's hound, Robilar, and we would dare not risk war. So,
Indeed.
I need to tell you this. The Lords of Greyhawk have found another solution in its stead. They wish to send a small, more stealthy party into the lands to retrieve it, or at least bring news of what it harkens. I understand that you have been recently promoted and that you are going to soon leave in the service of Cuthbert to explore the world. I have pulled some strings and given you a chance to bring great honor onto yourself. And I ask that you serve as one of the leaders of the discretionary parties that will be sent out.
I'm humbled, and all this for the glory of Cuthbert.
Indeed. The marshals and lords of Greyhawk are promising gold and riches to those who bring back the news of what portents from the Blue Star. But more important than that is, of course, the service of Cuthbert, and to bring honor to oneself.
I will bring honor upon Cuthbert and this temple, my priest, as well as the information that you require.
And so, I ask you that you rally forth unto yourself a small party to go south and grab it. Yet only those who will travel fast, light, and silently. If you are captured, say nothing. Understood?
By my word and honor, my priest.
Good. And he puts his grip on your shoulder gets a little tighter for a second. He sighs. You know, I've always thought of you as a son. I'm going to miss your assistance around here. And he pats you on it twice before beginning to totter off again. Good luck, Drew.
And Drew will fold his hands in front of him as the clergy of Cuthbert has been taught whenever you want to have a show, a great show of emotion, they're taught to put their hands forward as a reminder to not get too emotional inside of the temple and respect the tenets of their faith. But at the same time, Drew knows, and he feels the same about Dominic as a father, and so he'll wait until he can no longer see Dominic before he will turn and do his bidding.
Mm-hmm. And now, Dominic's lived a long time, and he knows what the Bright Desert is and what a travel there entails. And so, you know, it was very subtle, but you could tell he was very worried for you.
Indeed. And Drew will nervously shuffle off to his quarters where he'll make sure that his pack is ready to go. And if there are any other notes that have been placed in his room, and then he will do exactly as Dominic has asked.
Mm-hmm. So, you need to find a party that can go stealthily, is one of the words he rang true. So, who do you go for in order to, you know, make a party that can get you into a place like the Bright Desert? Do you know anyone?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, from the various skirmishes and battles that I've been involved in, there was two in particular people that I'm thinking about that that helped us in our time of need, and in fact, at one point, saved our lives. One of them, a smuggler by trade, at least what I can remember, and the other, a very strong female that I think could kick my ass. That's Drew's thoughts.
Okay.
Who is very stealthy and knows her way around the battlefield.
Okay. So you have these two options then for people to seek out. Who do you go for first then?
Well, I think Rayrell is first on my list as Drew thinks about having to be as stealthy as you can. And I just remember times where she would pop up out of nowhere and, throw some arrows downrange, if I'm not mistaken, and finished off a couple people that were going to finish me off. And so Rayrell would be the first I would go look for. And if I'm not mistaken, usually in the evening times, she can be found carousing around various taverns.
So it gets to, the evening. The sun's starting to go down, and you make your way towards where you assume Rayrell to be. So you go through a few taverns. You first start out at the Ivory Stag, then you head to the lower quarters, you try the Wandering Table, and finally, when you enter the musical tavern of the Green Fiddle, you do see her sitting in one of the corners, not making too much of an emotional game out of it. But she seems to be listening to music, having a drink or two, sort of unwinding after a long day of restocking. What do you do?
Well, first, I will observe the table and the areas there. Again, is there anybody around her, or is she by herself at this point?
I guess that would be Ray's call. Ray, do you have any company with you?
Not at the moment. Knight's too young.
Drew will, as much as he can, he'll walk through the door and, like, again, as he looks over the place, he's gonna hunch his shoulders over, much like someone who had been working all day, perhaps, and is a little tired, and will walk over to Rayrell's table. Will approach the other side of the table or booth that she's sitting in, respecting her space. Not sitting down immediately, but just getting in her eye line so that she can see me.
Okay. The tavern keep gives you a slight eye, but, he's only got one. He's got a big eye patch over half of his face. So he gives you an eye and goes back to whatever he was doing, polishing mugs in the classic barkeep fashion. And so, you go unharassed as you approached Rayrell's table. And Rayrell, you now have some company.
She looks up from her glass and arches an eyebrow. It's like, you have a familiar face. I've met you before.
Indeed. And if you have a moment, may I sit down and discuss something of great importance with you?
Of course, of course. Have a seat. Would you like a drink?
No. I'm sorry. The matter I speak of I need a clear head to be able to articulate the things I need to tell you.
Then a drink later then.
Perhaps. So Drew will adjust his mace that's on his hip so that it doesn't get all clanky when it sits. Actually, he'll just take it out and put it on the seat, next to him.
You hear an "Oi! Weapons stay sheathed."
It's my first time in a tavern. No, I respect your rules. My apologies, sir.
No surprise to me, altar boy. Keep it sheathed.
And so he'll put the mace back in the ring. and kind of look a little sheepish towards Rayrell because he wanted to come in and look like a big dog, but now he kind of been, slapped down a little bit in the tavern he's never been a part of.
Mm-hmm.
But Drew will look up once again, kind of shaking off the admonishment by the barkeep. Indeed, we have met before, my lady. If I'm not mistaken, you are Rayrell. Am I correct?
Yeah, that is true.
There was the time where we were both in the battlefield together, and I don't know if you can recall, as I do, but you saved my life not just once, but on 2 occasions by taking down the enemy that was charging us, and with you and your bow is the reason why I am able to stand here today. Now, do you recall any of this?
I have saved many lives in many different ways. But I don't doubt your recollections of events.
Well then, I have been tasked to create a party, if you will, a stealthy group of individuals that will investigate if you have not seen or heard, which I'm sure you have. But the comet that has flown across the sky is of great interest to the clergy of Cuthbert. And I've been tasked with investigating this comet and where it has landed. And I'm in need of a small yet stealthy and strong party to get there, to grab an understanding of what this could be, and come back. And you are one of the people that I thought of, as I don't know very many folks that have your skill set.
Oh, sounds like quite the adventure you've been tasked with. Is there payment?
Well, here's what I understand. One, I am just yet a squire of sorts, so I will not be recognized. If we were to have sent some of our more prominent warriors, I'm sure they would have been recognized in the field immediately, as we know there are spies everywhere that keep tabs on the clergy of Cuthbert. From my understanding, there is many a wealthy person offering gold in return of understanding what is in the area of the comet. I myself need nothing more than what I can sustain. I would imagine that on our way there and on our way back, there will be many an opportunity for you to gain gold and items that you may want.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you have anybody else you've collected so far for this team, this party?
There is another. And if I remember, and again, all of this, I was young and battle and twisted head and barely able to understand what was happening. But there's a smuggler I recall, and he was able to get us any and all items that we needed in order to take the war to the next level and win. I believe his name was Soren.
Ah, yes, Soren.
You know of Soren?
Ah, old family friend.
Indeed. Do you think that you could reach him and perhaps persuade him to come with us as well?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could. Oh, it's just a matter of finding him. It's been a bit scarce lately.
As most smugglers are indeed. His skill set will be greatly needed, as I'm sure he has a network of people that, if things are needed, he would be able to acquire such things and items. It would be greatly appreciated if you could reach out to him and see if he would like to join us.
Okay, yeah, I can reach out to him. DM, would I know where Soren would peruse, or is he even in town?
I mean, you don't, but I think that Soren might just so happen to be in the area. Because, and now we'll go to Soren. So Soren, you are sitting in the sort of mail room as you've been working as a part-time. And it's just about the evening. Pretty much all the deliveries are done for today. And then the head postmistress comes up to you with a small brown bag. She says to you, Soren, I got a job for you.
Is this a gift?
No. You're a good kid, but I got something I need you to do. Okay? Walk quietly. Don't talk to nobody. Don't interact with nobody this whole trip. I need you to go to the green fill and give this to the barkeep. You don't need to know what's inside. You don't need to know who's it to, all that good stuff. But you're a bright kid with a good head on his shoulders, and so I trust you'll do the right thing. Eh, Soren?
You want me to talk to no one? I tend to be more inconspicuous when I'm talking to everyone. Such silence might raise eyes.
Aye, but all I'm saying is don't spill no beans. You know old Gregor, guy with the big eye patch over his face. Yells at everyone. Complete puppy of a man. You know what I'm talking about.
Tends to change which eye the eye patch is on every so often.
Yeah, pretty much. He likes to make people think he fought in the battle, but he didn't do nothing. Yeah, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that to him, you're gonna make some small talk, do what you have gotta do, not to be conspicuous and left alone, and then just come back here and everything goes back to normal. Sound good?
When did things get out of normal? Everything seemed totally normal here to me.
Alright, kid. Well, hey, if you get this done, you get it done quick. I got a few electrum burning a hole in my pocket. I think I could spare each away. Sound good? Get you some ice cream?
It sounds like quite a good plan to me.
Alright. You know what to do. So, Soren, you've been given your task. What do you make of it?
How sealed up is this envelope?
It's bound with a little white rope sort of tied into a little bow tie at the top.
I'm walking there already, and it's the whole time I'm just looking over it in my hands, definitely just out in the open with it. Is it common that the postmistress would be giving me personal jobs? With her a bit? For
important packages, yes, she does sometimes give it to, her running boys personally. If it's an important thing, that's usually when it gets given.
I turn it over in my hands quite a few times, but since...
You can hear some stuff rattling around inside.
Ooh, that changes things. Ooh. I shake it next to my ear, try and hear what type of material is in there.
Well, the package is kind of dense. A little, it feels like there's a solid, pretty square object inside there, and it's just a little heavy. It's not it doesn't feel like a rock, but it doesn't feel like paper. It feels somewhere in between.
Maybe it's scissors.
Maybe.
I spend the vast majority of my trip to this tavern debating internally whether I should open it and peek inside. And by the time I'm going through my head, if it wasn't the boss lady, I'd open it for sure. But it's so much more interesting. I feel like he has that debate in his head and doesn't even realize he's reached the tavern at that point.
Mm-hmm. So you're already standing in front of the door. The the fiddle players who usually make their money at the tavern are walking out for the night, and it's the late night crew starting to come in, and you stand at a crossroads. What do you do?
I'm at the door. Thinking better of it at this point, I tuck it into my pocket and then just burst through the doors as boisterously as possible, just waving to the fiddle players, just making my presence very known, and walk up to the bar.
Well, how do you
there
make
he
your
is.
presence known? What's a very Soren way to make your presence known?
What is a very Soren? I feel like it kind of when I burst into the tavern, there's a little bit of the candles kind of waver for just a minute, and you hear just almost like a trumpet sound they come in. It's like
is that like
uses
prestidigitation type trumpet?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So the tavern keep goes, keep it down. We got folks who are hammered in here. And he takes a little sip of something behind the counter. Be nice to my patrons. And he goes back to polishing a mug.
Is it not enough that I'm nice to you?
You, errand boy. You're barely a sprig out the ground. I need not manage no dandelions. I'm only looking at the trees.
Well, should this dandelion find another place to drink?
If your money's good, then you're welcome here.
That's what I thought. And I'll kind of look around the bar near him to see if there's an area that's not as heavily populated and have a seat there.
So there's the area with your three companions, and then there is a couple of other strange parties sort of making about. A group of halflings are sitting in the corner. They look like they're all sort of related and having a good time. And then there's one or two dwarf traders that dwarves tend to drink late at night compared to others. So they don't even seem to be too deep into their mugs yet.
I'll plop down a bit of coin on the counter and just ask him for something strong.
Alright. And he reaches below the counter and he rummages around a bit. And he pours you what seems to be a glass of wine, but then as he brings it towards you and you get a whiff of it, you can tell it's apple juice.
Well, are you trying to cheat me out of a good drink?
I'm not cheating you out of anything, Dandelion. I'm making sure you get to see the later days of your life.
I may be young, but drinking is likely the area I've had the most experience in my young life.
Alright, is that how you think it is? And he gets out a bottle of a clear white liquid and splashes it into the apple juice. Is it alright? I'll hit you nice and hard.
Good. And I try and subtly slip the package out of my pocket and just say, "Good. I would have hated to have held on to this gift that I got."
Gift? For me? Who fucking cares about old Gregor?
Shh, apparently it's supposed to be a secret gift.
Secret from who?
Yes, they said it needed to be delivered subtly, and no, clearly I'm the epitome of subtlety.
Wait a minute, was it the postmistress?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Oh, and he blushes a little bit. I know what it is, alright. He takes the package and sort of hides it below the counter. That's not for your eyes, Dandelion. Here, since you gave me something good, I'll help you out a little bit as well. Them folks over there has been talking about you all night. I didn't catch what. I don't know if they're gonna whack you or if there's some far-off family here, but I recommend let them know what the what is. He,
Those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive, you know.
that's fair enough. I got a cousin up in, where is it? I don't even remember. He's gone full loony. Won't stab me for sure. 'Cause I don't blame you none for being a little bit on the edge. He
As
says,
far as I'm not, I don't think I've upset my family enough quite for that yet, but there's still time.
oh,
As you said, I'm still young.
well, if there's gonna be an assassination, do me a favor, take it outside. Sound good?
I will choose the most opportune location to be killed that will not impact your business.
Excellent, Dandelion. Always a pleasure to have you at the Green Fiddle. And he goes back to what he's doing.
I will pick up my drink and saunter over to the table.
Okay, so this was sort of happening, while your early conversations were happening. So right as you start to talk about Soren is when he enters, and now, lo and behold, here he is.
Buddhist.
Is that my old friend Ray Rel there?
Ah, you've gotten older?
Just a bit. Just a bit. And then I know you two, it was Gru, correct?
Drew, my good friend, and how are you, Soren?
Oh, I'm same as always. Living life.
It's very fortuitous that you are here. In fact, we were just speaking about you and the need to speak with you.
Oh, speak. Good. The barman had me afraid that I was about to be murdered.
Don't
we
murder
of,
family. That's
and
for
we
one.
of the Order of Cuthbert, so we don't murder people for no good reason, anyhow. But Soren, I come to thee today with some news and a proposition for you. Would you hear it?
Oh, my ears are always open.
I have been tasked with creating an exploration party to go find where the end of the comet landed and find out what that was all about and if it has any religious or secular information or reasoning. And we need to travel stealthily and lightly. And I was hoping you might be interested in such a trek.
Now, do keep in mind that everyone knows it had fallen in the Brightlands, and that the Brightlands were who Greyhawk had done battle with not so long ago. And so there is a notorious reputation about the place that you all are headed to.
Very dangerous.
This is just something that, you all would know, and it's all information that I should make sure is established.
Okay, no, I think that's very fair. So Drew once again will kind of just turn and he'll say to Soren, you have been a good friend of the church, whether you wanted to be or not. Your equipment and supplies saved the day for us and allowed us to retreat with minimal losses in some cases and then win in others. For that, we are grateful. And as you know, this comet has landed very, very near or inside the Brightlands, who you know, of course, we were fighting with. The clergy has asked me once again to create a small party to explore this area and report our findings. And we have been blessed that Ray Rail has already agreed to accompany me. And it would be a great honor if you would come as well.
Well, you've found me at a fortuitous time. It's Ray Rel. I'm not sure if you've heard. I left my family's business previously. It's a relatively recent phenomenon. So I'm certainly looking for, work here and there. This is it's a little bit out of my area of expertise. I tend to stick to the waters, but The challenge of sneaking you and making you look inconspicuous in the crowd. That sounds like quite the fun.
I realize my demeanor, my dress, and things of that nature certainly give me away. I will change and do my best to be something that I'm not for just a small while. So can I count on you to accompany us?
For you, Stu, my good friend, of course.
Indeed. Drew will chuckle, and he'll slide out from the chair. He'll stand again, hunched over shoulders, trying to do his best. He's been working all day pose, and he doesn't know if it's working or not, but he'll simply say, get a good night's sleep or not. But I'd like to leave in the morning if that's fine with you both.
Shall we meet you at the temple then?
Yes. Meet us at the temple doors. They will be expecting you.
All right.
Lesson 1, friend. Next time you'd like to blend in a tavern, it's a good idea to have a drink with you. But I will see you then.
Duly noted, Soren. And again, I thank you both. This will be something the church will always remember. And so Drew will turn on his heels and walk towards the door. He'll then go back to the temple, and he will write a note and have it sent to Dominic, telling him that we duly expect Rel and Soren. This is usually how they are dressed, and a description of the two. And they will meet us at the temple, and to please bring them and sit them in the foyer until that time we are ready to leave.
Okay. So, let's start with Soren. So, you are now invited on this expedition. What about your mail job? No, let's talk about it. Do you want to quit it? What's your plan for that? Or are you giving no notice?
I will leave a note for the postmistress. Leaving, I feel like that's most appropriate. I feel like that's the means of communication she's most used to. Just explaining that clearly I viewed this more of a bit of a freelance job, and that there is a business opportunity and challenge I cannot quite resist.
Okay.
But I will try and... She owes me some electrum for that package. Torn. I will write the letter and then attempt to deliver it in person, or hunt around at the office to see if she's left me my payment in any usual place.
So, you go to her head office and you can see she's asleep behind the table again. And her, always the punctual one, has left a little bit of electrum already prepped on the corner of the table for you with, yes, a note she wrote saying, "Here you go, Soren. I know you did well." Even though she has no way of confirming that.
All right. Well, I will try and I will take my payment and leave my goodbye note for her.
Okay.
Just in a place where she is very obvious to find it. And I'll be sure to include it again in the note that, I hope to be back soon, and it's been a pleasure working with her. This is certainly not the last she's seen of me.
Okay.
Because I know that would be quite disheartening for her.
Raywell, do you do anything before you go to sleep tonight?
I go to the Ivory Stag.
It's almost midnight. and there's very few people in.
Is Corin at the bar?
Uh, Corin is not at the bar, but the barkeep knows you and waves you up to the room that Corin will be staying in, or has been staying in.
Okay. So I head up to this to his room,
Mm-hmm.
and I lightly knock on the door.
Okay. So you hear some footsteps, and your old fling Corin opens up the door, very tired and visibly a little haggard. And he says, "Who, Rayrell? What do you want at this time of night?"
I just thought I'd stop by.
Okay.
Is Josephine here?
Joseph. Yeah, Josephine's asleep. What's up?
Ah, okay. Yeah, it is late, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
humans need sleep, all that stuff.
right. You need sleep. Well, I am leaving in the morning for a journey, and I know I haven't stopped by in a while, but this job's dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wanted to see the two of you before I left.
Would you like me to wake her?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Okay. He shuffles off, sort of half asleep himself. And what was her name again?
Josephine.
Okay, and he jostles a young half-elf girl, and she springs up much quicker than her father does. And he says, "Josephine, mother's here." And Josephine, unlike Corin, who seemed interested in your arrival but not surprised, Josephine, even half awake, comes bounding up towards you and just does a leaping hug into your arms. He's,
I hug her.
she's gotten very tall since the last time you've seen her as well. She's 16 now.
You've grown so much.
And she's like, "Mom, wait." And she just seems a little confused for a second. She's like, "Yeah, I have grown up quite a bit. You haven't changed at all, have you, Mom?"
No, I haven't. Not much.
She seems a little melancholy. "So, why'd you want to see us? You don't come by very often."
Well, I'm leaving on a long trip, and it's quite dangerous. I just wanted to make sure you were okay.
"Oh, yeah,
And
I'll be okay. I'm doing great."
that's good. It's good. Very proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you'd like me to get for you on my travels to bring back to you?
Um, no, nothing much. She seems a little, uh, you know, a little distant now that she heard that you're leaving again. She's like, "Oh, okay, you know what? Yes, I know exactly what I want you to bring me."
And what would that be, dear?
"Well, you always go to the forest, so how about this time, let's see if you can find a rose." Because she always seems to ask for flowers. She loves them.
A rose.
Yeah, one of the wild ones. They grow way bigger in the forest than they do here in Greyhawk. They get
That's
all
true.
wilted here.
Okay, a rose it is then.
And she gives you like a half smile.
I kiss her forehead.
And she hugs you. And this one does seem genuine and full of love. And she stays a moment before pulling away, and she says, "Well, is there anything I can get you?"
Well, how have your studies been going?
"They've been going well. And
Okay.
I'm old enough now that I'm allowed to help around here, so now I've got a few copper of my own.
I'm so proud of you.
Mm-hmm. Someday I'm gonna take Dad's job, and he'll see how good I am.
I'm sure you will.
Corin just seems very neutral, like not at all amused by that. I'm certain
Well,
you will, dear.
well, take care of your father for me.
I can't take care of myself. Not that much. He shows like a little scar he'd gotten from fumbling with the dishes. Well, Ravel, it's been good seeing you, and come back safe, okay?
I'll try.
Corin brings you in for a hug. A little awkward, not sure if this is completely socially okay.
She returns the hug. It's a little awkward, but she hugs him.
Okay. Mm. He gives you a little bag. Here, I've been saving this up. 5 silver pieces for your journey.
You're so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Of course, dear. Good luck to you.
You as well.
And he starts to close the door and shuffles back to bed.
Riveril returns to the green fiddle for the night.
Mm-hmm. And that's where she has her room, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, that was emotional. And then, Drew, anything you do before you head to bed?
Per usual, Drew will make sure that he's reading his scriptures,
Mm-hmm.
and he is preparing his traveling pack. So, items such as, a couple of short torches, rope, his holy symbol, rations for how many ever days. Drew will be preparing and praying, and he'll attempt to get anywhere between 6 and 8 hours sleep that evening.
Okay. So, repeat that last sentence for me.
Yeah, and he will attempt to get 6 to 8 hours sleep that evening. However, one thing of note that I forgot is that he does in fact write a very poignant note to Dominic,
Mm-hmm.
in the vein of, if he doesn't come back, know that you've treated me well and you've done a great boon to somebody that did not know their way.
Mm-hmm.
You found somebody that was rudderless, like a rudderless ship in the night, and found an oarsman to take me where I needed to go. And so if it happens that I do not come back, I will await thee inside of the gates of Cuthbert's with open arms, and is very thankful for his time teaching me what I know.
Mm-hmm. So, you leave that note, and the next day comes, and as you're getting ready, you see Dominic in the halls, but he doesn't approach you, he doesn't make eye contact. He avoids you if he can.
Yeah, fully expected at this point that
Mm-hmm.
any sort of more speaking or contact will elicit, the emotional behavior that isn't reverent inside of the temple.
Mm-hmm. We gotta be like Spock.
Indeed.
Okay. And so, you've made your way out front. Soren, Rayrel, are you there to meet him on the exact time he gave?
Yep.
Soren will show up 5 minutes fashionably late.
Mm-hmm. So,
Not because he's running late, but because that's the time he planned to arrive.
so by the time you get there, Rayrel and Drew had been having a little bit of a, a small talk between each other. And the day has come for you to leave. Is there any last preparations you all make before you head out?
the temple is providing them with a meal for the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So, dried fruits and meat, poultry has been provided for the morning. And
Is there any?
they've asked. Yes, go ahead, please.
So, is there any? And this is just a small little thing, but is there anything that the cathedral specializes in, like that they specially make for people?
The Temple of Cuthbert in Greyhawk itself is think of it as I think it's called the Parthenon. Like, it's very big. It is a huge tribute to St. Cuthbert himself. So it is a mecca of where parishioners and people come to confess and convert.
Mm-hmm.
They're really known for very common sense approach to problem solving, and they're very well known in terms of being able to, I guess, create or change behaviors and make people kind of go in the right direction. That's kind of the Cuthbert scriptures, but at the same time, people come to this temple to be healed as well. And not everybody gets healed. People sometimes are turned away, but that's kind of the overview of the Cuthbert Temple in Greyhawk and what it's about.
Okay, excellent. So, yeah, with that, I guess that you have breakfast, and now it's time to make preps for a very long journey. It seems. Is there any supplies or any last-minute things you get before you leave?
Having worked a bit with Rayrel in the past and knowing my own consumption, I make sure that I get at least 1 or 2 full wineskins before we leave.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you get what you all assume would be the basic supplies. The market's busy this time of day, and what we're going to say is that the supplies your characters start with, when we were setting them up, that's basically what they get while they're at the market. That way we don't have to, RP nothing too heavy. And so, you make your way towards the gates of the city and ready yourselves to move out. And you do see something odd, though. You see another group about to head out. This is a wagon with a horse, and there's a little gnome sort of sitting at the carriage seat, and then you have 2 humans and a half-orc sitting in the back of the carriage. It's one of the open wagons. And the little gnome tips his hat to you and he says, "Ah, fellow travelers, eh?
Yes, we are.
Heading out on a long journey?"
Are there any other kind?
Yes, a short journey. Well, it seems you're going to be making the journey on foot, eh? Good luck to you.
Traveling light.
You speak as if you have an alternative for us.
No. Maybe. Do you have coin?
No. But maybe.
Maybe. I don't deal in maybes. Lads, do we deal in maybes?
It seems like you're inclined to hand them out. You just don't accept them back.
Pretty
No
bad.
returns on these.
And he gets off the horse for just a moment and walks up to Soren. He says, "I've been watching you, boy."
Oof. Should I be flattered?
Maybe.
I'll choose to be.
Between you and me, and we'll keep this discretionary, this is not just a journey for you lads. This is a race. You'll think the Greyhawk is only setting out one party, especially one so, he looks Drew and Ray Rel over. Motley? No, they're sending out multiple. And between you and me, he gets real close to you. I'm the representative of the Thieves Guild. These are my boys, and we're going to get that meteor first, and all the spoils of riches that come with it. You understand, yes?
Drew immediately tucked his coin pouch in his belt.
I saw that, Baldy. Don't worry, though. We're not here to rob you. Technically, you're our allies, though competitors at the same time.
Indeed.
That's quite presumptuous. I don't recall any of that specifically for our journey. Although it seems a little bit strong advertising your allegiances to the Thieves Guild, and a little bit less than subtle telling us exactly what you're doing.
Well, you see, subtlety is only when there's a fear that you might lose. I wish you and your companions the best of luck, but we will be the ones reaping the spoils. Touche, lads! And they all raise their fists in the air, not saying much of anything. Good boys! And he tips his hat again to you. Good.
Is he still off of, is it a horse-drawn carriage?
Yeah, it's a little horse-drawn carriage.
Before he gets back on, can I cast Minor Illusion and just create a big bang to try and spook the horses so that the cart leaves without him?
You can, for sure. That's something I'll allow. Sure, let's go ahead and try it. Is there some sort of roll for Minor Illusion?
I can create a sound range from a whisper to a scream that lasts for a minute. It can be my voice, someone else's voice, a lion's roar, any other sound I choose. Mm-hmm. So that just happens. I don't know if there's some kind of intimidation to roll against a horse, maybe.
All right, yeah. Let's do a skill check, the first one of the game, and let's roll for intimidate.
Okay. Let's see.
It'd probably be a DC. Is it a 13 for you, Soren?
So I've got a save DC of 13 if we wanted to do it like that, or I didn't know if you wanted me to roll intimidation.
Yeah, let's roll intimidation. That's what I think is more relevant here.
Okay. Well, I rolled an 18, and I've got +3 to intimidation, so 21.
So the horse. Let's see. Yes, you very much easily spook the horse, and it goes galloping off. The men are a little confused, and the half-orc guy, he clambers up to try and get in control, and the gnome turns around and sees this, and he's like, "You won't see the last of this."
Don't let your team leave without you now.
So he's off running down the pathway.
Drew waves, just like nothing happened. Like an actual goodbye friend wave.
Oh, Drew is such a good lad.
They seemed nice.
So I suppose it's now time to make your way south, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Indeed. Now, let me see. I'm sure we would know where we're going here. Or do we have a map of some sort that was given to us? Could I have pulled one from the library?
Yes. I would say that the people of Cuthbert's Cloth are a bit insular, and while they do pilgrimages, aren't very prone to, traveling. They prefer the cities and the rural or the urban areas.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll say that you don't have a super detailed map at your hand.
Right. Okay. No, I think that makes sense.
I think I can give you something like that. All right. So we have a little map up on the stream now for your viewing pleasure.
Outstanding. Yep. Okay, so let me see. Just trying to. Oh, okay. So we know that we're going to be traveling south and east,
Mm-hmm.
and so we can do it either where we follow the river down and take a boat,
Mm-hmm.
or we can simply follow. There is a road from Greyhawk that goes through a lot of little, I would say, towns,
Mm-hmm.
and Stormkeep, Zarek, and so Drew will turn to Rayrel Soren. There are two ways with which we can get to the Brightlands. We can travel down the river and get a boat, or we can take the road. There is a road that goes all the way there. It'll be quite some time, but the road takes us straight to Kalandi.
So let me give
Well,
you some
Yeah.
info real quick.
Yes,
So
please.
you see those three little hexes of hill right in the middle of the Bright Desert.
For sure. Yep.
So that is where it is generally thought to have landed. And then
Yes.
the keep and the stronghold of Rari is going to be in the northeastern part, though you are unsure where as you've never actually visited the place.
Okay. So the only thing we truly know is that the comet landed somewhere near the Brass Hills, which is the name of those the hills. The Brass Hills and Rary's Tower is somewhere north and east of the Brass Hills. That's all we know at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So Drew once again turning to his compatriots. What say you? Shall we try to hire a boat, or would you like to go by land?
well, if this is a race, the river's the fastest way.
To that I agree. According to this map, there is, if we
Today-
travel down Woolly Bay, as you can see,
Nope.
there's a
Today-
little inlet that looks to be very close.
Yes.
I propose we go there.
What do you think, Soren?
Well, I'm happy to stick to the water if that's an option. That's where I have the most experience. I'm happy to, if we head to the docks, we may be able to either charter a small vessel ourselves, or I could potentially we could see if there's anyone. There's oftentimes those looking for work on the sea of three hardy individuals to provide protection.
So DM, we would like to
Mm-hmm.
travel down to, the river that travels north up into Greyhawk. We would like to try and charter a river boat to take us down to the, all the way down the river, if we can find that,
Mm-hmm.
to Woolly Bay. And basically, I think the city we would want to get off in is like Aerox Landing,
Mm-hmm.
which is right at the mouth of the river.
Let's see. Aerox Landing. Is that? I'm looking at Abor Als. So is that the little thing just to the west of it?
Let me see. Elbor's Owls. So, Aerox Landing
Mm-hmm.
is directly opposite Bright Tower Keep on the other side of the river. So, Aerox Landing is on, or we could just go to Hardby. That's a big city. Probably be easier to charter a boat there.
True.
Yeah, there it is. You see it, DM? Hardby is right on your map, right at the mouth of the river.
Mm-hmm. I see Hardby. That I
Yeah, let's do that then. Why don't we go there?
Sounds good to me.
And so we will look for somebody, DM,
Mhm.
to see if there's anybody or sign or anybody standing on a boat that looks like they want to charter down the river.
Mm-hmm. So much with any So you make your way to the river ports that surround the center of Greyhawk, right? And you see a few ships. You see one very large paddle boat-like ship, and then you see a ship that has crates and boxes and all sorts of things like that on it. And then you see one more that's currently being unloaded. So 2 that are about to shove off, and 1 that is not.
Soren, I believe we should defer to you, as your knowledge of, I would imagine, ships is greater than ours.
Do I see maybe any Rainy that I used to work with? Anyone that I know from my smuggling days around the dock?
So actually,
a familiarity
yes.
on the ship.
So standing in front of the large sort of steamship looking like boat, there is someone that you don't quite recognize at first, but then you realize, oh, that's my cousin. So you see your cousin sort of looking at passengers and, making sure no one's got anything too dangerous on them as they board the riverboat that he's currently filling.
This isn't my family's boat that I used to work on, right? This is a different chunk of the family.
That boat, you haven't been on your family ship for a while, and they were always prone to changing things up on you. So you are not entirely sure.
Oof. Well, I noticed my cousin in front of a boat that speaking with Ray Rel and Drew, that may be good for us or maybe not. There's one boat I'm trying to avoid us being on, and my family they weren't always consistent with the appearance. They liked to decorate, so we'll see if this is the one or not. But the most appropriate for our plans.
Well, by all means.
So you all get in, or try and charter passage on this with the cousin who's sitting out front?
Yes.
Yep, I will wipe this anxiety from my face and just saunter up. Cousin!
Cousin!
It has been too long.
How you doing? He comes in, he jostles you a little bit. It's not really much of a hug, but more just a general, making sure you don't have any knives on you or anything. How you doing? How are you doing, cousin? How are you doing?
Keeping busy. Yourself?
Soren, why have you not talked to Auntie?
Oh, I have not seen Auntie. Has she not got my messages?
About you, Soren. You disappear. What are you doing, man?
I've been leaving messages.
You've been leaving jack shit.
Were they not delivered?
No, they were delivered, but your father threw them out.
Well, see, there's your problem. That's the problem there.
Listen,
that's the breakdown in the chain of communication.
I'm a different branch of the family command altogether. I ain't getting involved in your life or whatever the hell is going on with your mother. I'll let you on this ship, but listen, you won't say nothing about it, okay? I say nothing about it, you say nothing about it, and you pay double.
Pay double?
Pay double, I'll stay silent.
Oh, pay double, can you, I was hoping to not pay at all. Perhaps I can...
It's my ship. Well, not my ship, it's Uncle's, but I work on the ship. He'll be happy to get a little extra coin.
I can make my services rendered. Can Uncle not utilize me on this ship?
The bad question is, do you want Uncle to utilize you? Because I can keep quiet. Uncle Blanny, he blathers. He'll let your mom know what's going on. And then who knows what Miles said? Probably try to kidnap you.
You tell me you can stay quiet, cousin, but I imagine that word is going to spread at this point no matter what.
Listen. It's me. It's Vinny. You can trust your cousin. I'm not gonna say nothing.
Oh, my cousin Vinny. Vinny, I would not feel right being on this ship and not contributing. Perhaps I'm trying to move some local business associates of mine downriver. So, however, I can help you with work around the ship, and however we can accommodate their passage. I'm happy to speak with Uncle need be. I leave things in your capable hands.
My capable hands? Mate, I got my cousin fucking killed at the hands of the mafia. What are you talking capable? But I'm glad you have faith in me. It's more than fucking these people around here have. I'll tell you what. How about that boy? And he points at Drew. He looks pretty strong. What you can lift? 200? 250?
He just nods very, very slowly. Drew will nod towards the cousin Vinny.
Alright, here's what we'll do, alright? We'll say under the table, he works security, you pay 1.5 what you normally pay, and we all good. Sound good?
Oof, Vinny, you're killing me, Vinny.
Hey, I gotta make my money somehow. Listen, you think repairing this thing comes cheap? I got this thing off of, what was his fucking name? Ugly ass half-orc, but he gave it to me, it was rusted to shit. This takes fucking money to keep this thing going. I can't give you no family discounts. Well, I can, but the family discount is I add extra. I make you pay more. So, really, I'm giving you a discount here if you think about it.
All right, Vinny, if you are making the logistical mistake of not wanting to utilize any of my skills when I'm on board, that's entirely within your rights, and I will pay. It seems a shame to throw away such a valuable resource.
I mean,
as if I don't know what I'm doing on this ship.
If you want, Soren, you can roll persuasion.
Sure. Let's try that. That's a 16 plus 5. 21 again. Jeez.
21.
I'm not used to being high charisma.
Vinny taps his little clipboard he's got with him a little bit. Hey, what can she do? What's your name? Tell me, Toots, what's your name?
Jeez.
He points at Rayro. So she's silent type,
Oh, me?
Yeah, you. You got a name?
Yeah, it's Rayrel.
Got a boyfriend?
You're too young for me, darling.
Alright. Here's the deal. You seem like a lovely lot. You seem like you got good heads on your shoulders. We'll pay extra, you do service, but gotta make sure Uncle don't see you, alright? If he sees you, he's telling. Got it?
Fair enough.
Alright. And so he asks for, let's say what we got. 10 silver piece. That sound good? 10 silver, 1 gold. You know. King's money. Give me a king's money.
I flip him 2. And I tell him to make sure that word does not get out from you, Vinny.
Hey, you got Vinny's word. Listen, anybody finds out anything, just let Vinny know. I'll karate chop him. I'll roundhouse kick him. You won't see him never again.
I know all about Vinny's word, and the extra gold is to make sure that Vinny's words are limited.
Got it. And then you see some other people walk up in the line, and it's a very upset gnome, a very haggard-looking half-orc, and two exhausted-looking humans. They don't notice you, though, because you folks have just boarded the ship as they arrive, and they immediately start arguing with Vinny. Okay, so now you're on the good ship Marianne, and you have one room to the three of you, hammocks, and food costs extra. Gonna be a lovely sail down the river.
And Drew will defer and allow Rayrel and Soren to pick which hammocks they would like first.
I think Ravrel will take a bottom hammock.
Soren is happy to take a top hammock, I guess, since he's getting himself very accustomed to this small room, as he's going to be staying quite a lot of time in it to avoid the rest of his family.
It'll sway you to sleep.
You know what? That's fair enough, though, honestly. So, you all get comfy for the night, and, it's been a long day. The ship starts to set sail, and, out of the porthole on your room, you do notice that you know exactly who your neighbors are going to be. Oh no, it's them.
It's the gnome.
So the night goes by quietly, and your uncle, the sea captain Soren, not sea captain, I suppose, but river captain, has had the ship shove off, and you're making your way down the river. Currently, it's about tide, considering that you're 3 feet from each other. And in the night, you hear skittering around and some scratching sounds deep in the bowels of the ship. And the next morning, you wake up and Rayrel, your leg's a little itchy. Something's been biting you at night.
Oh, great. Take a look at it. Does it look like anything I've seen before?
No, but it's the size of like a baseball, and it does not look good.
Oh, jeez.
It doesn't look like something normal has been biting you.
Well, that's fantastic. Let's see. What do I have?
At any point, do Soren and Drew notice this baseball-sized welt on her?
I mean, it's pretty hard not to.
Right?
Yeah,
It's because she's kind of messing with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Drew will hop down and take a look.
Mm-hmm.
From a distance, he doesn't touch her.
Mm-hmm.
Rayrel,
yes,
may I take a look?
of course.
May I touch your leg?
Yes, you may.
So he'll kneel,
Mm-hmm.
and if I could roll a medicine check,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, to see if I notice or know anything about this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, give me a medicine check.
All right, so I'm using Google Dice Roller.
Mm-hmm.
It's a +3, so I have a 14.
14. Okay. With a 14, you know that it's a spider bite. You know that the spider that bit her is way, way bigger than a spider should be. Or at least any spider you want to have on a ship would be.
Okay.
You don't know what did it or where it came from, though.
All right. So, would I know if I need to maybe make an incision and kind of push everything out of it? Things like that. Is there a way I can try to make it better?
I mean, yes, but nobody wants that.
I don't want it to get worse. If we have to drain it, we have to drain it.
Fair enough. Do you have any other solution, though?
Well, and Drew will turn to Soren. Soren, it appears there's a very large spider about. Whether or not it is still in our cabin is unknown. But perhaps if you could search the walls and look for a space that is big enough for something to come through and then plug that hole, we will be much safer going forward. That was my wisdom of 16 speaking, by the way. I'm not very smart. I mean, 13, but I'm fairly wise.
Mm-hmm. Perceptive.
Yeah. So I will ask Soren, as Drew just did, will you search the room, please?
Of course, I'm happy to look.
And so while he's looking, I'm just going to look Rayrell in the eye and go, what I'm going to have to do is heat up a dagger and open this wound and excise it.
Ugh.
Are you okay with this?
Yeah. I've suffered worse.
All right. Well, so if there is like a lantern or a lamp or anything that we use during the day on the ship, I'm going to light it.
Okay.
And let me make sure that if I don't have a dagger, I'm going to have to borrow one. I'm not sure I have one, to be perfectly honest. And I'm going to ask if Soren or Rayrell have a dagger. Do any of you have a dagger or a knife?
Let's see. I have 2 short swords.
That'll actually do.
I do have a pair of daggers.
May I borrow them? May I juice them up, sir? May I gunk up your daggers?
Oh, no. That's even worse.
Soren is going to hand you one and then continue staring at the walls like you suggested and not watch this at all.
All right, so Drew will then step to one of the lanterns if there is indeed, like an oil lantern or something, and will first he'll speak to Rayrell. Rayrell, please sit with your leg off of your hammock. We don't want to have to clean that as well.
Of course.
And so I would imagine she's kind of sitting, butt in the hammock, both legs kind of out.
Yep.
And so I heat the dagger, and Drew will then come and kneel and sheepishly look at you and kind of move your legs kind of open so that only he can get to one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can see this really like it's flipping him out kind of. and so he will he'll set up any kind of cloth that he had. I'm talking. So Drew takes his bedding and whatever there is, and he will excise this baseball sized in the bedding, all of it. So I mean, I imagine if I have a blanket, it's pretty big. So I'm going to try and soak up all the junk, and I'm going to slowly but surely from the top of it.
Let's just go to Soren. Oh, God.
Yeah. Yep.
Gush.
Just give me a medicine check. We'll see. And let's just medicine check it.
All right, let's just do it. Let's just get it done.
Yep.
I really
hold on.
let
me get rid of this.
I love you, Kevin, but God, I do not like how you are lingering on this, my dude.
15, sir, is the medicine check.
Okay, you give me a 15. I'm going to say yes, excised, and I'm not going to describe it any further than that. Neither of you are happy with what happened there today.
And immediately, though, Drew will then take whatever he was wiping up the goop with.
Oh, guys, please. Okay.
And he'll toss that shit overboard.
Okay. I will say, Rayrell, take 1 damage because it's been a bad time. You're in
for sure.
You're not, weakened or, slowed in any way, but you are in pain.
I mean, there was a baseball-sized wound in my leg. So
yeah, we can't have that or any kind of potential poisons.
So, with that, Soren, what are you doing? Now that this whole affair is dealt with.
I've been checking the walls to see if I can find anywhere where a spider might have come in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm focusing on, if you mentioned that we know that the gnome and his party are in the room next door, I think I'm focusing on the wall that divides us.
There does not seem to be any tampering with there, no. There does
I'm
seem
not
to
finding
be
anything.
tampering, though, while you're looking, with the lock on your cabin.
Oh, the lock on our cabin messed
Yes,
with?
the lock on your cabin has, not so subtly, been a little janked with.
Yeah, Drew's looking for holes himself now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like the door was unlocked, and while neither of you can really tell anything, Ravel, you've noticed, or you notice like how things like this work. These look definitely like a hunter's dagger's marks on the wooden wall that have sort of carved around the lock that's supposed to keep your door closed. So someone definitely did hamper and fiddle with your cabin's door.
Looks like we might have to take turns keeping watch this next couple nights. I would want for to keep my legs.
It's possible they did not appreciate, our friends next door did not appreciate the horse incident. It's possible.
Whose fault was that?
I mean, it sounds like bad horses to me.
So really what we're saying is Rayrel getting hurt is technically Soren's fault.
Yes.
That's what Drew's hearing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what Soren is hearing.
So
we'll continue to look and search up and down to see if there's any. I mean, maybe we find it and smash it with my mace, but we will continue to look for and we'll push and prod in every single inch of the walls, floor, and ceiling.
So your search eventually takes you to the hallway because there doesn't seem to be anything aside from a damaged door, but you can kind of tell spider tracks. Now, obviously, normally spiders wouldn't be large enough to really leave any tracks per se, but you can tell that little spider feet have kind of pressed into and put little tiny holes into the soft wood of the ship, and that if you follow them, it's taking you down to the cargo hold.
Well, either there is a large spider on the loose, either that was stuck aboard, most likely, knowing this family. But whether or not it's cargo.
Soren, I believe it's time to speak to your cousin.
I don't know if they transport spiders. They're a weird side of the family. I hope not.
Either way, I think they need to know that they have poisonous spiders, at least one, that is in their cargo hold.
I mean, we could always check ourselves. Just avoid having to deal with Vinny again. There's some inherent benefits there, which I think you all observed by listening to him speak.
Let me see what my alignment is really quick. My alignment. Let's see. I think I am the rule follower. Yeah, so Drew will once again go. I do not believe this is our ship to be carousing about.
Well, technically, it's not Vinny's ship either.
Well, we know it's not ours.
I'd rather avoid my uncle. We could try.
Perhaps one of us can go speak with them. You don't necessarily have to.
That's an option. It's
I am not your keeper. I will sell you this only, that I will not go down into the cargo hold without permission.
understood.
But what you do is up to you.
Mm-hmm. So what have we decided then?
I think we should at least talk to either the captain or to Vinny about, like, hey, there might be a giant poisonous spider loose on your boat. Do you know anything about this? Because, like, maybe it could be their cargo that got loose that you didn't know, or someone snuck on some stuff they weren't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well,
This,
Drew will volunteer then.
this entire ship is definitely, one that is up there in years and has been used multiple times. So who knows what's the cause of it?
Right.
So are you going to go speak to Vinny then?
Yeah, I'll
Drew,
go.
yeah. You Raywell, would you like to?
Yeah, I'll go speak with Vinny.
Well, I would like to accompany you.
Just because, like, I've got, like, a bandaged leg
Yeah.
in evidence. I
Mm.
feel like I should go talk
So I
with him.
will. Yeah, I will go with Raywell, but I will not be side by side. I will let her do the talking while I kind of stand on the deck of the ship.
Hmm. And then, Soren, what's your plan?
I'm going to hesitantly tag along because as much as I'd like to avoid my family, I also don't want my family. I just have these horror images in my head of my family talking to Drew and just manipulating him in this conversation in more unsavory ways than I would manipulate him.
Hmm. So all three of you sort
I
of,
have to protect him as my charge on this ship.
of course. So all three of you make your way up to the top deck, and so you find Vinny with all the other passengers. He was playing cards with the Thieves Guild members and has very recently stepped away, a little poorer and a little sadder. And he looks at you and he's in a little bit of a bad mood and he says, "Hey, Soren, how you doing? What's up, dude? How can I help you?"
I'll kind of like step aside and let Lady Rayrell handle, kind of assert herself if she'd like.
Good
As
morning,
a party.
Mhm.
Since we had an intruder in our cabin last night,
Hey, the good
stick
kind,
out
the bad kind.
my bandaged leg. It's like, seems there's a spider problem on your ship.
Spider problem? I mean, no, there ain't no spiders on this ship.
No, my leg begs to differ.
Yeah, well, that's a real shiny you got there. Yeah, you best get that looked at. Have old baldy doctor over here, do some messing on you, eh?
He already has.
Okay, well, he ain't very good at it. But spider problem, huh? I mean, I don't keep track of what our clientele bring aboard. Some of them, maybe won't bring a spider. It's not my job to talk about and tell who does what now. Maybe it's a spider. Not my job to know. Except it is, but it ain't. If you pay enough money, which they did, so they good. And Vinny's, clearly talking circles here.
So there is quite possibly a spider, and I'm just gonna put this out there. Seeing as my leg has been bitten, if I come across said spider, I cannot help what happens to it. Just for the safety of your crew and the other passengers aboard. Bad for business for someone to lose a leg just for getting passage.
Yeah, pretty much is, ain't it? But Soren always leaves a good review. He won't tell nothing no how. Yeah, right, Soren? He jabs your shoulder a little bit.
I don't know, Vinny. You may not know Rayrell, but she's a long time friend of the family.
Hey.
For her to be injured in such a way.
Hmm. And he waves you to come down a hallway with him. Away from the Thieves Guild's folk. And he says, alright, here's what happened, alright? Is so there was a fella that wanted to bring a spider aboard, and I was like, alright, you keep it in a big old crate, it won't get out none. So I was all good with that. He pays his extra protection money for the spider. And then later that night, I heard creaking, but I thought, hey, ship's made a crap, so that's probably why. But someone probably let loose the spider, and yeah, if you go out in the cargo hold and you kill it, here's the deal. I'll say, hey, no harm, no foul. Sound good?
I mean, if the deal was for the spider to stay contained and it didn't, can't really help what happens to it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm talking about, then. You know what's up. You know it's all good.
We'll take care of this little pest problem. Hopefully the rest of the journey will go smoothly.
Mm-hmm. So, you folks head into the cargo hold then?
Yep, we'll head down into the cargo hold.
Drew will first go to his cabin and grab his shield.
Mm-hmm.
So he has that. He will grab his shield and his mace, and then accompany Ray Rail and Soren down to the cargo hold.
Okay. Drew, or Kevin, do you have the Roll20 set up?
Let's see. Oh, I need to log in, don't I? My apologies, DM. Please do not lightning bolt me.
Oh, no, it's all good. I might spider bite you, but I'm not going to lightning bolt you.
Yeah. Well, all right, let me see. I gotta log in. So here's that.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to go.
Yeah, so we'll just take a brief intermission for a sec while...
All right. I'm looking for my games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am not seeing in Roll20. I'm not seeing my person in.
No.
Wait, I see Greyhawk.
Yep.
And I see, and last played on 9/24/18, so
Yep.
that's not good.
If you look at the Discord, I sent a invite
thank
to you.
Thank you very much. All right, here we go. That should work just fine. And I would like to launch this game. All right, now I know what's going on. Hey, check us out.
Hey.
Apologies in advance, sir. Thank you, everybody in chat, for dealing with me. Waiting for it to load.
Where's Spider?
Yeah. Is there? And I have to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to remember. Okay. So
while we're getting...
Yeah, Madam DM, I'm not. It's not loading just yet, unless I'm somewhere else.
Oh, there you are. Let me just...
Am I in?
Yep, there you are. We good.
All right. Thank you very much for your patience.
Okay, let's get this set up. And while I'm getting that set up, just tell folks a little bit about yourselves. Remind everyone who you are and all that good.
Well, I'm Liz Doodles on the Twitters, on Instagram, kind of on Tumblr. I'm the artist of this little campaign here, and I play Rayrel, the Wood Elf Ranger.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we'll bring it to the bottom. Patrick, you?
Sure, I'm Patrick, or Trick, or Attack Trick, whatever you prefer. I'm playing Soren, our human, slightly disaster sorcerer. Happy to be here.
Okay. And
My
Patrick,
experience,
yourself.
most sorcerers are disasters. So
This is my second time playing one, and the first time was last week with.
Mhm.
Ooh, I like.
Okay, you can see everything all right?
I can see it on the stream, but my screen is blank.
yeah,
Mine as well.
Interesting. I mean, if we can see it on stream, that kind of works.
Yeah.
Maybe be hidden in like a DM layer from I don't know.
Yes, I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe a lighting thing.
I'm probably still, to be honest, I'm still figuring out all this stuff.
Of course.
So, you know, I'm a be a big old futz up, but we'll set
No,
up
no
something
way.
nice.
No, honestly, this is look. I bet you there's some people out there that are looking at Roll20 and go, "No, this is how you do it." So we'll figure it out together. I know I'm interested.
Yep. So we'll say that cargo area of the ship kind of looks something like that. We'll say, and then we will get, what do we got? We've got cleric fella. That's not. Sorry about this. I'm just getting this all set up.
No worries.
Okay, we'll
No worries.
put a little token for Drew. We'll put.
I'm going to practice a attack roll.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, this is a, a first attempted run through. And so, yeah, things are going to be awkward at first. We'll put a little Ray Rail.
Yeah.
And then we'll put, a little. Oh, that's not. Yeah, that works for. So we got our 3 folks. And then we'll get, some crates. Put that down. And we'll set up the scene. Okay. So the crates and the hull is a very jam-packed, very crowded little area. The family that Vinny works for and his sort of, motto does not seem to be get everything there in one piece. It seems to be fill it as full as possible and let the gods sort it out from there.
I like it.
Used to get deliveries from someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of broken eggs.
Yeah.
There's no pride in their work.
Mm-hmm. It's like Amazon in some ways. It's not too far off. So now here comes the issue, though. You don't know exactly where the spider is. Let's see.
Fair enough.
How can I make sure that you folk can... Oh, okay, I see what you're supposed to do. But we won't do it that way. We'll do it very improvised for our first attempt. And we'll figure it out some other day. So, you know that there's one of these out here somewhere. You don't know where, though. So, let's do a little bit of RP again. So, you make your way down to the hull, and it's leaky, it's creaky, it's very moist, the boxes don't seem stacked very well, and above it all, you hear some sort of silent, dark skittering about that you cannot quite place where it is. And so you hear around the walls and around the ceiling, and it echoes in this little area.
Can I take a look around to see if I can like pinpoint where the skittering is coming from?
Yeah, give me a perception.
All right. Oh, that's not good. That's not. So that's a 10.
Hmm. Let's see. Where do you stand in the hallway? Or in the hall? Do you stay in the middle, in the front end near the bow, or near the back near the stern?
I'm gonna stay kind of close to the stairs that we came down in.
Hmm.
Kind of like with Soren and Drew off to one side. So I'm like in the middle and I'm just like taking a look
Hmm.
around.
Okay, sounds good. So, the skittering, you cannot quite place where it is. And in fact, your attempts to find it come a little too late.
Mm.
Because before you know it, you can feel a blast of like silky web come towards you.
Great.
So give me a roll your AC. Or no. Let me be right back and get my dice. I forgot those. Give me 1 sec, folks.
All good.
It's got a taste for you now, Ray Rel.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe I'll get some like permanent spider climb on my feet.
Why not? Maybe we will all turn into Spider-Man, the medieval edition.
Back again.
How cool would that be?
That'd be pretty dope.
Right, dual class cleric Spider-Man.
Yeah, Cleric Spider-Man. Pretty sure there's an alternate universe of that, right?
Right?
A what if
No.
series?
That's all we're doing. And if you're talking about comic books and you know that stuff, you are my hero right now. Loving you is really easy right now. That is, yeah, every man's dream, ladies and gentlemen.
What does the conversation devolve to while I disappeared?
Cleric Spider-Man.
Yeah, we're dual classing cleric Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
when we get bit by the spider. And Liz knows comic book, so I'm blown away.
So you can tell where the blast came from. It came from not too far at all, but on top of a heap of crates off to the side. And you see, in fact, the large broken crate now that the spider originally came from. And let's say, what's your AC, Rayro?
My AC is 15.
Okay, so the blast of the web comes towards you, and it nearly hits you, but being someone who's gone out in the forest before, you've dealt with giant spiders. You know what they're like, and you know how to avoid it. So when the blast comes, you're prepared, and you're ready, and you dodge deftly out of the way.
I had some spider sense tingling.
Mm-hmm. It splarts instead onto the ground, right at your feet, though. So your shoes are a little messy, but otherwise you're fine. So now, let's roll for initiative.
All right.
Let's go.
Oh, these dice are not my friends today. That's fine. I rolled an 8.
An 8?
Yeah, but to be fair, my leg's a little messed up, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that makes sense, all things considered.
I got a 9.
Okay.
Per usual, I will probably always be last with my -1, a 5.
Okay.
Not the fastest of humans.
And let's see what we get. Wow, Spider's not doing so hot either, though, so you're okay.
All right.
So, the first person to react to the situation that's going on is Soren, because, you know, you are a roguish type, you are used to thinking on your feet, and with Ray sort of slowed by the situation, you are the first one ready to fight this thing. So Soren, given the situation and what's before you, what do you do?
I run forward a little bit to try and take some cover behind those boxes, and then I kind of brush my hands across, my vest and my shirt, and cast mage armor on myself.
Okay.
Which the way that looks is kind of some like wavy gold filigree just kind of appears on the clothes that I'm wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's my action.
Yeah.
I start considering options I've got for the future that don't involve burning the ship down.
Mm-hmm.
And I start hoping that this is only one spider.
Yeah, when the spider's in the room, you have to burn it down, usually. So, Ray, now that you've got the spider web off your feet, you're ready to act, and you see the creature before you. It's snarling, it's big, and it's on top of a crate. It doesn't like having its turf muscled in on. What do you do?
Let's see here. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to short sword it because it is definitely too close to use my bow. So, Rerel pulls two twin short swords from her belt and runs forward 30 feet, basically right up into the spider's face.
Okay.
And then she can she do an offhand attack? I'm double checking. Oh yes, I have 2 weapon fighting, so I want to swing twice
Mm-hmm.
with one time with each sword. So let's see.
The spider's up on a crate, though, so I'm going to say roll with disadvantage.
Okay. Oh dang. Okay. That's kind of a bummer. One of them was a natural 20. Okay, so let's see. To hit, I rolled a 15 and a 17.
Okay. So that's with disadvantage?
That's with disadvantage.
Okay. So you're hobbling, you're a little, worse for wear, and the thing's up high. But you know what? Fuck this thing. It bit you, and you want revenge. So, hobbling your way over there, you bring out both swords, and you very deftly catch the thing off guard and swipe at its feet. And what damage do you do?
Let's see. 19?
19 total?
Yes.
Okay, woof. So Rayrel is having none of this. She swipes and immediately just breaks off 2 of the spider's legs in basic perfect revenge for her own. The thing spews out green goop, and it is no happy at what you've done, and it strikes back immediately. Drew still being in the corner and still trying to figure out what's going on right now. So the spider comes down and it tries to bite at you. So, let's see, what's your AC?
15?
Okay, so the spider, you had to get quite close, and so it manages to deftly sink its fangs right into you. And we're going to do 4 damage as it breaks through your armor and into your shoulder ever so slightly.
Ouch. Okay.
And you feel another one of those little baseball-shaped welts starting to form. And now, give me a Constitution save against the poison. Because this one wasn't in, a sort of small vessel in your feet. This one got into a pretty prominent blood vessel.
That is a 8. I need to switch out these dice.
8?
Where'd my dice go? Yeah, 8.
Okay. So, we'll have... The initial bite wasn't so bad, but oh god, the poison hurts.
Oh dear.
How much HP do you have?
7 currently.
So you feel the poison seep into you, You don't know where it hits on you, but you immediately fall to 0 and are passed out completely.
Fun. Oh, okay. I did that.
Okay, so Drew, you finally gotten over the shock of what just happened, only to see your friend immediately get venomized and drop, passed out to the spider venom. So what do you do, Drew?
So Drew, with his shield in hand, puts the mace in his shield hand. So his hands are through the straps, but now he's holding his mace in his shield hand. So knowing that he won't be able to attack with it, immediately his hand glows blue.
Mm-hmm.
And he runs and he slides as he puts his shield up in front of both himself and Rayrel, and he touches her and casts Cure Wounds.
Okay. So, yeah, give me a Cure Wounds then. What does that do?
That's going to be a 1d8 plus 3 hit points that she gets back.
Mm-hmm. So how much do we heal the girl for?
She's going to get 7. 7. No, wait, 9.
Okay.
9?
So, Rayrel, as soon as the the poison seeps into you, only a few seconds later, and luckily before it reaches your heart, you feel the poison sapped right back out. And while you are still, under its effects, you are alive, you are breathing, but you're on the floor in a cold sweat.
Yeah. Shield overhead with my hand on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Soren, what do you got for us?
I see Rayrel fall, and I just start panicking. I'm just like, damn it, stupid Vinny. And I jump out around the corner, and it's the broken crystal that he kind of wears as a pendant. He grasps that,
Mm-hmm.
and the color which is normally kind of like a dull goldish yellow, like frosted. It starts kind of like shifting, and just kind of showcasing a bunch of different kind of
Like
rainbow.
a little light show.
And I'm gonna try and cast hurl a chaos ball for that.
Okay.
Which is a weird one.
That doesn't require any components, right?
Verbal and somatic.
Okay.
But the crystal I also have is like an arcane focus.
Got it. So
So this is, I make a ranged attack against the target. If it hits, the target takes 2d8 plus 1d6, and the damage type is determined by the d8s.
Okay. All right, cool. Roll to see if it hits then.
Okay. Geez, that's another 19.
And this is against AC, yes?
Yes, 19 plus 5, so 24.
Okay, so I don't even need to check. That radiant and colorful little crystal of yours blasts out a bolt, and it strikes the spider dead on right between the eyes. How much numbers we looking at?
So I roll 2d8s and a d6, and that's damage. And then the type is one of the d8s. So that is 12 points of force damage.
12 points? So your chaos bolt is, spewing out weird radiant colors, but it doesn't set it on fire. It doesn't electrocute it. It simply knocks the spider into the wall of the ship, cracking it slightly. And the spider, you can see that its face is caved in. This thing is not moving anymore. You've damaged it way too thoroughly for it to be alive. And the creature collapses to the ground, not breathing anymore. The spider is down. And the situation resolved.
Spiders.
Drew will offer a hand to Ray Rail to pick her up.
Mhm.
Ray Rail accepts.
And, no need for any real pleasantries. Drew will just turn on his heels
Mhm.
and march right back up to where Vinny is.
Okay, so you make your way up to the top deck. Rail's stable, although again, you're gonna be feeling that spider welt for some time.
It's
Oh yeah.
if I can before we leave,
Mhm.
Soren is just going to briefly glance at the other crates.
Mhm.
Make sure that one, nothing else is broken.
Mhm.
And then if he happens to catch an eye of something interesting, then that happens. But I'm mainly looking to make sure there's no more broken out spiders.
I mean, if you want people's like clothes and cargo and like little projects, yes, you can steal some old clothes and stuff if that's what you're feeling.
Oh no need for taking, just information. Just
Okay.
see what they were transporting.
Mm-hmm. There doesn't seem to be anything too illicit otherwise. Just the typical like moonshine and stuff like that. But this was definitely the worst thing that they had brought aboard.
Did I look at the crate that the spider came out of and see if it was deliberately broken or if it had broken out on its own?
So you look at the spider's crate, and it looked like it had been nailed in there. And yes, the nails had been pried off. So yes, it was very deliberate in it. If the spider had gotten out normally, the crate would have been damaged heavily and things like that. But no, the crate was in good shape, and the spider, you can see webs all over the place inside of the huge crate. It had been making a home in there, so it was very okay with it.
Looks like we have enemies aboard, I guess.
That's such a sloppy way to try and assassinate us.
I know. They should really be better about it.
breaking out a spider and then breaking our door in the hopes that that's the one place the spider will go.
Kind of rules out the whole Thieves Guild. You'd think they'd have a defter hand with this whole thing.
I don't know. These ones don't seem that good at their jobs.
I mean, they did. They told us right off the bat they were from the Thieves Guild, so probably not the best.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep first watch tonight.
And Drew is marching straight to where Vinny is.
Mm-hmm. So Vinny, hearing commotion down there, has started heading towards it. So you meet him in the hallway of where the rooms are, and he's like, "Hey, Baldy, how you doing? Everything all right down there?"
Using intimidation, I want to know who brought it.
All right, so give me a little intimidation then.
All right, 1d20. All right, here we go. +4, not very intimidating, and 9.
Mm-hmm. Listen, Baldy, you're on the family ship, hey? I'll listen to requests, but they ain't going so high. Now, I'll tell you this much, right? I don't know who brought the spider on. Uncle just told me to pack it. Listen, I don't want to deal with no big spiders any more than you do.
Well, that spider nearly killed my friend.
Ah, jeez, I ain't no good.
I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Hey,
Is it so somebody on this ship does it belong to, or are you saying your uncle just simply gave you a box?
I'd ask Uncle. He knows what's going on around here. I'm just the help man.
Is he aboard the ship now?
Yeah, he's a pilot. He's making sure we ain't crashing.
So I just ignore Vinny and go straight
Hey,
upstairs.
you like shove past him.
I don't put my hands on him, but yes, I get chest to chest and pass him up.
Hey, fucking this guy, am I right? And so you make your way. You're going up to where the helm is.
Yes.
Okay. So there's another human fella, maybe even another cousin, standing there watching guard, and he's like, "Hey, wait, no, can't mess with the helmsman. He's making sure we ain't crashing."
I need to speak to the helmsman immediately.
Was someone dying?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Alright, fine, fine. He opens up. Hey, yo, Marco, someone's here to see you. And you see a very large man with a very tight cap on his head. He looks like he had stumbled into a store, bought a pirate costume on a budget, and then forgot all the fun parts of being a pirate. His dress is sloppy, and he seems very disheveled.
All right. Well, Drew slung his shield and put his mace away as to not have any sort of um, offensive weapons in terms of going. He's not going up there to bash a skull yet. Marco,
Yeah, who's asking?
whatever crate you brought onto the ship nearly killed one of my friends. I'd like to know who brought it.
Wait, what crate we talking?
The crate in which you just told somebody, just put it on the ship.
He's like steering one-handed while holding a conversation with you.
All right. I mean, my perception, I'm making sure, we're going somewhat straight down the river. But I will ask again. There was a spider that escaped a crate and nearly killed my friend.
Jeez.
I would greatly appreciate it
And
be indebted to you if you could tell me.
Yeah. Alright, I'll tell you. Gnome. A little gnome guy asked me to bring it on. Said that he'd need it when he got to the crossroads. I don't know what he's talking about, but hey, ain't exactly my job.
Well, Marco, you have proven to be a man of class and honor.
Well, that's
and
what
I
I
appreciate
am.
that.
Listen. I'm always a man of class. That's my thing. Just like Vinny's thing is being a worthless little shit. Now, you gotta go harass passengers. Don't start no fight. Got it?
I understand.
Hey.
And this for your trouble, sir. And he'll take one gold piece and slap it up on the whatever steering mechanism there is.
Mm-hmm.
So I put one gold piece and I just kind of spin on my heels and go back down.
Mm.
And I'm looking for Ray Rail and Soren at this point.
Have you guys stayed in the hull or have you moved on?
I think we at least moved up back to our cabin.
Mm.
And Rayrell starts to like dress her wounds a bit.
Mm.
If I don't see them above deck, I'll immediately go to the cabin.
Okay, excellent. And Rayrell's not phased or nothing by this?
Yeah, she's had worse.
Mm. Okay, cool. I'm surprised Drew's handling this so well. I don't think he's ever been on a boat before. I'm surprised he's not getting seasick.
No, Drew is a law and order guy. You know what I mean? So if his compatriots are being harassed, he believes in the rule of law and the unwritten rule of law, which is you don't mess with people's friends or family.
Fair enough.
But again, he won't take anything into his own hands illegally. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if he didn't have evidence, he's not going to just go and bash some dude's skull in. That's not his way. Is law and order, follow the rules, and so that's why. I mean, he's just on a mission right now.
Perfectly understandable.
So he heads down. Drew heads down to the cabin, the quarters, and he'll enter. Looks to make sure that Ray Rail and Soren are in the room, and then turns his head and he looks at them both during the time that he's speaking. It has come to my attention that the gnome was the one that brought the box.
Well then, That's not surprising. Can't do anything about it now. Don't want to risk our passage. Probably do something about it once we leave the boat, though. Or perhaps losing their pet is enough of a warning.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. I think we would be remiss if we did not double the lock on our door somehow.
Yeah, I suggest we also keep watch tonight, take turns, just in case.
Soren, are we sure that there are no holes for which this could happen again?
None that I found, but this, as you saw in the hold, the ship is not quite entirely up to snuff. I'm not used to. The rest of my family's boats are usually much nicer. I'll just.
I understand.
Vinny does not seem to. I don't know how much responsibility my uncle has afforded him, but he does not seem to be. He's not working with the deliberate hand he should be in making business.
Well, I will tell you that Marco was very forthcoming in naming the gnome in terms of who brought the spider on board.
That's not entirely surprising. It's my uncle. He's not as big an asshole as Vinny is. He's a little more serious. Has obviously been at this a bit longer. It's just some awkward conversations I'd prefer to avoid if I can.
We all have that one. So we will keep watch this evening. If you two would like to choose when you will keep watch, I will take the third shift of whichever is left.
I'll take the first shift.
So,
I guess in the middle then.
so you folks do, your sleeping shifts, and you don't seem to be bothered again tonight. And the next morning comes, and you hear the bell at the top of the boat ringing out, and you hear Marco's voice echo through the pipe system that seems to work as sort of a loudspeaker throughout the ship, and you hear, "Landing in Hardby! Landing in Hardby! 1 hour till we dock!" And the ship, you can tell from the little port, you can see Hardby up on the horizon as you start making your way towards it.
Oh, thank goodness.
Drew will immediately start to pack up his things.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for his compatriots to do the same, and then we'll walk up with them on deck.
Rayrel packs up her things, making sure everything's where it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And probably changes the dressing on her spider bites, at the very least.
Okay.
Before heading up.
Soren's pack is sloppier, just kind of all thrown together. Takes a quick drink or two from his wineskin and just tries to focus on, okay, just walk off the ship, look as little like me as possible, and just avoid any more conversations.
Got it.
Okay, cool. So you make your way up to the top of the ship, and you can see the Gynarchy of Hardby coming up in the distance. It looks like a smaller city than Greyhawk, but still a bustling little, small city. And I think with you and everyone else ready to make your landing, that we will stop the session there for today. Sound good?
All right, we
Sounds
have
good to
landed
me.
in Hardby. Watch out, city. Here we come.
Woo!
All right. Yeah, man.
Good game.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. Let's we need to go gnome smashing in this next episode. You know, like
Alright.
whack a gnome. We'll put him in
Yeah.
a box and let his head pop up. We'll just keep smashing it down.
Remember, he does have companions. He's got the humans. He's got the half orc guy. Like, he's not coming at it alone. So, like, you're gonna
Yeah, the half orc is
for
what
sure.
scares the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm. So,
Everybody else, I think I can handle.
mhm. So yes, thank you,
I was
people
not
of Twitch. I think we'll cut it off there. Sound good?
Sounds
Sounds
good to
great.
me.
Thank you so much, Madam DM.
Mm-hmm. Last words, anyone?
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
No, appreciate you guys all in chat, and no, look, as you know, we go forward. Obviously, we're gonna just continue to pile on the entertainment factor. So tell your friends and family from all over, and come on in next week.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.